teammate of mine first showed me my hero on YouTube 5 years ago. Listening to that speaker opened my mind to a new philosophy for the first time. I started watching the presidential debates just to hear this man speak, what little time they gave him, that is. But when he did speak, it was like an awakening. An awakening that is now spreading nationwide, no matter what the mainstream media says.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now here's a question, why do the youth love this man? Well, the answer to that's simple, it's because we use the internet. With access to more sources, we can make more informed decisions. And because of that, that perspective lets us see right through those other candidates. We see his record. We see that he has never voted to raise taxes and never voted for an unbalanced budget. We see that he has sided with freedom every time, on every issue. We see that he has always stood up for the truth, no matter how popular, because like Thomas Jefferson on matters of principle, Ron Paul stands like a rock. We see that he is the only candidate who predicted the financial crisis and that his decades worth of economic predictions have come true. We see how he humbly conducts himself during the debates, and that despite being systematically underrepresented, Ron Paul is the only candidate that can rely on facts instead of rhetorics, because the facts are on his side. We see that he is the only one who can win against President Obama, because he alone has the moderate and independent appeal necessary to win. He alone is the overwhelming choice of our troops, and he alone has the army of young supporters needed to win that are out here tonight. So one final thought. If we're serious about making a difference, it starts with individual action. And that's why I ask you tonight to please take the time to register Republican to vote for Dr. Ron Paul in the California primary. By taking this action, you can give the campaign the information necessary to remind you to vote, to get out the vote on Election Day, and make sure that we can sweep California. You can make an even bigger difference as well by getting involved in your local politics at your community level and changing the establishment to make it pro-liberty and pro-freedom. So now, without further delay, it is my humble honor to introduce a man whose candidacy is renewing an age-old message of liberty. Please help me welcome the champion of the Constitution, our next president, Ron Paul.
spirit. This is wonderful. Father, thank you for that very nice introduction. Before I get started, I want to introduce two members of my family with me tonight, my wife, Carol, and granddaughter, Linda. Last night we were in a different part of California, up in Chico, and we had a little rally up there. And they set a record. They set a record with a number of people coming out. But the record has been broken tonight. The message of liberty cannot be squelched. It's going to continue to spread. It is, and it's a wonderful message, and I am so delighted that the young people of this country are responding so favorably. So thank you very much for your interest in this cause. So this morning, after we had that wonderful rally last night and a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of cheering, I thought, well, I'll check the internet to find out what kind of stories were written. Well, one story, you know, we had, it is very, very accurate to say that we had over 6,000 people there. So I came across one story and said they had hundreds of people at Chico. Somebody reported there were 1,000. So. but the headline actually was a little bit more catching. The headline said, "Where's Ron Paul? What do we hear from him?" And yet, here we just had that rally. So tonight, I hope we're able to send a message where they do hear from us. Is the message is spreading very well. If we compare it to 2 years ago, 4 years ago, or 10 years ago, it's dramatically different, and it's growing exponentially, and there's a good reason for that. Not only is it a great message, the message of liberty, but there's a deep need for it in this country. We're seeing the consequence of not following our Constitution and not being dedicated to the cause of liberty. We have a mess. The answers can be found in our Constitution and in the understanding of what individual liberty is all about.